Even when a woman, the same of their gender, is trying to spit some facts about feminism bullshit, all the feminists start barking at their same gender. Look at this video, then we will go to comments after we hear that lady spit the fact out.
About 2.5 years ago, I went super viral on TikTok for my video saying I don't think modern day feminists want equality between men and women, they want to be men. And apparently my personal opinions of women having armpit hair completely broke the internet. I have never gotten so many death threats in my entire life. Well, that was until after October 7th. But I just wanted to say that 2.5 years later, my point still stands. The feminists fighting for women's rights are actually just fighting for male rights, not women at all. Fighting for women's rights means protecting young females in sports competitions, in beauty pageant competition, in any competition that's divided between male and female. But instead, these people are now fighting for males, biological males, to be able to compete against biological females, which proved my original point that it was never about the equality between men and women. It was about making men and women the same. And I don't know what's so hard for the leftist feminists to comprehend about the fact that you can be treated equally without being equal. Man does not equal woman. If every single person was the same, this world would never function. What happened to appreciating differences? Celebrating them? Now we just want to pretend like they don't exist? I love being a woman. I take so much pride in being a woman. It is so fun. I love it. I don't want to be equal to a man. I don't want to be treated like a man because I am not a man. I am not replaceable with a man. And I still think women should shave their armpits.
You have a phone, so I know you can Google what feminism is. You're just choosing not to. Quit posting misinformation about a topic you have no knowledge about. See more women supporting this comment. I hope you go to university and expand your knowledge on feminism and its history. There are always critical thinking classes out there. Literal brain rot. Sorry to burst your bubble. You didn't go viral, lol.
I hope every black woman is kissing another black woman because we are the innate protectors and the providers. We protect societies, we protect communities with our intellectual property, with our lived experiences, with our breast milk, with our bodies. We're the ones and the two. Bitch, not even the three. Because men are not providers and protectors, not innately, because they only protect what they possess. But we protect everybody, and we provide, baby, okay? So I hope you catch a girl tonight, because I hope I do. Ew. And don't forget, before there was feminism, it was lesbians who were living those lives without worried about niggas. Like, they were not worried about niggas. They were decentering men. So before there was feminism, there were lesbians. Hey, excuse me, thank you.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Cis men don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body
if you are,
menstruated at
if
some
your
point
chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of people
They're
here
women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an
The
example
science.
when we've learned sex and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different
They are
things.
completely different.
Completely different words.
Sex is what you're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
Oh my god, you're a pick-me. This makes so much sense. In 5 years, we'll watch your videos and cringe. It's okay. I love how she insults me for commenting under her video saying that sometimes men won't see when they're in the wrong. And she got so upset over it. I love how I'm the pick-me when every single one of your videos are about dating men. At least I don't make that my personality. You also put men down for female validation, so that is being a pick-me. You are a grown woman starting drama with a 15-year-old. All I want to say is I'm the bigger one, but I'm not supposed to be because you're literally the bigger one in this situation because you're older than me. I honestly do hope 5 years from now, I look back and think that what I'm doing is cringy because that'll show how much I've grown. You decided to insult my character because you couldn't insult my point.
The reality is, despite the fact that women might feel more vulnerable or might feel less safe, doesn't actually mean
It's
that they
not a
actually.
feeling.
Yo, you need to stop interrupting, please. Let me finish my point. Just because you might feel more unsafe doesn't mean that in actuality you actually are more unsafe than men are. And if you look at crime statistics, men are more likely to be victims of violent crime. And you sat there saying,
By which gender?
By males.
But
I was saying that women are just scared of different, like, small things that men will not think about, are not going to have in the back of their minds.
As somebody who's been physically assaulted, yes, I am very aware of, like, if I go outside, that I could be physically assaulted.
It's completely
That's not just a
valid.
woman thing. Women will frequently argue, you don't have to be worried about going out at night and getting jumped. Actually, yes, men do.
We do need men, though. We do.
We don't need them.
We do.
No, because they're lesbians.
Who do you call to get your car fixed? A man or a woman? Your toilet breaks down. Who do you call?
So I fix my own car. I can do. I'm motor mechanics.
Your power supply. Who runs it? Who runs the infrastructure of society? Men or women?
Oh, at the moment, men. Obviously,
Yeah,
because of patriarchy. Because of patriarchy.
Oh no.
But
The vast majority of wealth is owned by men. The vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labor.
A very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely?
Can you identify as a black person?
No,
Why?
because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetics. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
You shouldn't have hit. You shouldn't have hit first. You're not a child. You're a grown woman. If you were a grown, it's one thing.
Because one hit from a man can knock her and she'll die.
No, but
why does he have to be considerate after he's
she's under, and I'm an equal opportunity fighter.
No, and this is what I said. Equity, like a man. Let's not forget the fact that a man is way physically stronger than a woman.
That's why women ain't supposed to hit.
Wait. Listen. I get that. But this is what I'm just about to say. If that is the case, I think it's extremely irresponsible to tell somebody to do something like hit her back. That's just as hard. Because
hey. I did not say hit her back. I said knock that bitch out.
Which is even worse. Let me tell you. You know, like, do you know?
Don't put the wrong words in her mouth.
Listen. I'll tell you an example.
She knows what she said, B.
No. I'll give you an example. Yeah.
We have like no culture, so like, what are
what? White people have no culture? Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Schubert, Bach.
There's a debate that Mozart was black.
There's so much culture in Europe. Yeah, that's a good point. Like when you think white people culture in America, what is it? Potato salad, Starbucks,
they brought
when they were
over
raping and
culture
pillaging
from Europe, and then inside of the United States, all over you can see collectives of this from Europeans who settled in the South, which has some of its own unique culture. If you go west, it has its own unique culture, and then on the East Coast, same thing. So yeah, they brought over a lot of things, but it was a hodgepodge of European heritages. So there's definitely some culture here in the U.S. for sure.
Women's rights. But we can't define what a woman is. But also men can be women. And no uterus, no opinion. But also men can get pregnant. Men are oppressing us. But also, it's okay if biological men take over our spaces and our sports. Women are so over-sexualized in this culture, but it's empowering if women are the ones sexualizing themselves. Are you guys quite done yet? Like, are you okay?
That just about sums it up.
This is my friend Brianna Robinson. You should absolutely go follow her. She's fabulous. It's incredibly hypocritical, as everything is. Modern day feminism is not consistent in the slightest. Somebody commented and said, high empathy and low IQ generally correlate with feelings over facts. I mean, that's the basis of modern day feminism.
Said, Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay. Are you like, Chase, how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually, what the f do you mean?
Because if I had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that. Because I'd be gay if I had sex with a biological man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't shut the f up, actually.
I'm
She's right. I mean, that's really
But
hateful, bro.
she's not, would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man. Sue me, it's true. You know what God said? It said he made them man and women. Who knew that stating biological facts would make people walk off the show?
Rhonda, Lauren down here from the Herald Sun again. Just another quick one about Angela's question on equality just before. We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport? And we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dana and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Hi guys, I'm so sad right now because I just came to a realization. These past few days have been so hard for me. Cause you know how men say that women have toxic feminism, and you'll get to a certain age and no one will want to marry you and no one will love you. I feel like I've gotten to that point, guys. I was so hung on to this feminism thing, and I missed out on marriage and on children. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm so bitter. I'm so jealous of people who have marriages because they are so happy and their husbands don't even cheat on them. And men are just the best. You know, right now is when I'm realizing I can't do without them. And right now I'm I don't care if you are rich or poor, tall, dark, handsome, ugly. I don't care, by the way. As long as you're a man and you're breathing, that's the only qualification I need, because I'm just so desperate for a husband. There's a lot of pressure around me, so if you can DM me and propose, I swear I'll behave and I'll marry you immediately. I'll wash your clothes, I'll cook for you, I'll have your children, and I'll be obedient.
Are men trash?
Oh, cis, heterosexual men, absolutely, especially white men.
What rights do you think that men have that women don't today?
A woman can still walk a street and not feel protected versus a man can.
Women are probably underrepresented.
It started off with great intent, but you have people who abuse the system.
A hatred of masculine energy.
It's anti-men.
No, nothing gets done in a woke society. There's this video of a conference going on.
Hi, I am Andy P. From Los Angeles, they, them pronouns. There was a previous point of privilege about waving around signs.
And then another guy gets up and he's like, I'd just like to say to all the people chattering in the audience, I have sensory issues, so I need you all to be quiet while each person is speaking. And then
Hi, James Jackson, Sacramento DSA, he, him. I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive to sensory overload, and that goes double for the heckling and the hissing. It is also triggering to my anxiety.
It's like, well, don't call them guys because they might not be guys. They're girls and boys and they, thems and non-binaries and all this stuff.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
And it's like, this is how it would go in a society structured to benefit wokeism and political correctness.
This is what happens whenever you ask a transgender activist to explain even the basic premise of the movement, is they'll immediately say, well, who cares? Why are you so obsessed with this? I'm not obsessed with this. I'm not the one who started sending men into the women's bathroom and taking away their trophies and castrating kids. I'm perfectly happy with the way things have worked for thousands of years. It is the transgender activists who are trying to upend everything. And so I think it is at least my right to ask the question, okay, what is the premise of your movement? But they always deflect from that. They always withdraw from the debate. They always try to change the subject because there is no answer. So you ask me, well, what's the purpose of, why do you even care? What's the purpose of knowing someone's biological sex? Well, for starters, because we have civil rights specifically for women in the United States. We have special bathrooms for women. We have special sports leagues for women. We have all sorts of special places and rights and privileges and that are for women that are not for men. So if now some men, people who at the very least appear to be men, are claiming a right to go into those women's bathrooms, then we either have to abolish all of the special rights and privileges that have existed for women for all of human history and are enshrined in our law, or they need to explain to me how those men are actually women. And they can't do the latter, and I'm not willing to do the former, and I don't think women across this country are willing to do the former, even if a few people have been so ideologically blinded that they would give into this kind of an absurdity.
Protect feminism or low gas prices?
Oh, I'm always about lowering the gas prices for sure.
Why?
Absolutely. Well, I think feminism's a demonic movement created by Satan to emasculate men, to get them out of the biblical order that God created. And I don't even drive like a gas-powered car. I drive a Tesla. I just don't like feminism.
Hell yeah. I love a man that is unafraid to be honest about this stuff, because we're all lying to ourselves if we think modern day feminism is doing anything productive and if it's making like happy, peppy, wonderful women and strong men. It's really not. Somebody replied and said he just wants to lower gas prices so he can reach them. Somebody else said, dude has SBBB, small body, big brain. I'm here for it. Short king rules.
But here's Megan Rapinoe complaining that she does the same work as a man and doesn't get paid the same as a man.
4 World Cup championships and 4 Olympic gold medals for the United States. And despite those wins, I've been devalued, I've been disrespected, and dismissed because I am a woman. And I've been told that I don't deserve any more than less because I am a woman. You see, despite all the wins, I'm still paid less than men who do the same job that I do.
They don't do the same job that you do. They don't. You know how I know? Because Megan Rapinoe, anytime you want, you can go play on the men's team. You can try. You can try. After all, gender is it's a social construct. We have been informed by the left that gender does not exist. It's completely a social construct. So since gender is a social construct, anytime Megan Rapinoe wants, she can go try and play with the men. That is not going to go great for Megan Rapinoe. She is not doing the same work that a man is doing.
No. Okay, so you guys are more so stuck on the double standard component of it, it seems. Word?
Wait, may I ask a question?
Huh?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
For you two, what would you say what is the ideal woman's body count in your opinion? Like
ideal?
The average ideal, and what do you guys think personally for yourself?
Ideal?
Ideal is 0.
That was 0, 0.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say
0.
ideal is 0.
0.
Realistic low body count, like a realistic low body count, less than 10.
Yeah.
Like realistic, less than 10.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you trying to reveal something, Cynthia? What's going on? What's going on through that brain of yours?
And look, I've dated some girls with some fucking high body counts. I have. I've overlooked it, but it's just not. It's not your ideal, right? It's not your ideal situation. Like if I told you, tell me your ideal guy, you're gonna be like, he's 6'5", he's jacked, he's handsome, and he lives in a trailer. No, you're gonna want the total package, right? So that's the same thing. It's just when we talk about preference. It's important. Like people will tell you it's not, but like we as guys, like it's built in our DNA. Just like when you look at a guy that's like fat, bald, lives at home with his parents and has no job, you're like, no, I'm not gonna let this guy have sex with me ever, 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 ever. The same thing when we find out that we like a girl, and we find out like, oh shit, she has kind of been around the block, and one of my friends may have fucked her. You know, that's a conversation we have to sit there and be like, oh. And it's the worst when you really like the girl too, and then you find out because they've been lying. So
there is certainly a reputational component to a high body count too. Like, if someone's just slept with your entire friend group, it's just, I don't know, it's not great.
We have the girls that we pass around, and we're not necessarily saying, you know, the best things about those kind of girls.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't, if I know one of my buddies hooked up with a girl, it's just, I'm not.
Use the girl for your convenience, but then when she's out, you're not f***ing her anymore. It's, oh, she's a slut, she's this, she's that.
Right after I sex traffic her. Yes, correct.
Did I say sex traffic?
Well, I almost wonder if this is an issue of semantics for some of you, because at the start of the conversation, a lot of you said you think hookup culture is bad. Well, what coincides with hookup culture? Having a lot of sexual partners.
Broken families, people who don't know how to manage relationships.
Why do you look at me?
Just in general.
Why do you think I come from a broken family?
Oh my God.
I didn't say that.
You've been hinting that the whole
Well, I think you guys have been flirting with each other the whole show. So
no.
I've been looking at all of these girls. Like, I've been making eye contact with you.
No, but you've been picking on me the whole time.
Just
Dolce, why don't you introduce yourself to the class?
Oh, good.
Okay? Hi, my name's Dolce with 2 eyes. I feel anxious when I'm high.
I feel like I need to quote Jordan Peterson here. Not beautiful. It's sad because so many young women are preyed upon and are taught that, you know, their femininity is wrong, and in order to be successful, they have to be so masculine and like literally destroy their bodies. You don't. That is an utter lie. Ian Chiang replied and said, there's a Brazilian account that does comparisons of students before and after they entered college. That is horrifying.
She gets up and she says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car. I have a nice house. I have money. I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. Wow. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable, and I wish I would have never bought into that philosophy.
When the looks start to fade from a woman who is quite plain, she sees it as life. When the looks start to fade with an attractive woman, she sees it as disastrous because a lot of the power has gone. So they might, not always, but they might respond to it with a lot more insecurity.
How to put a Karen in place.
Are you? Stay away from the other people, you hear me? If you stay in this fucking chair, get the fuck out. Do that again, I'll kick you out myself!
She got a taste of her own medicine and a bit more. She was screaming in that woman's face, I don't know why, but it's unnecessary. She knew she fucked up because she started walking back when he was coming towards her. She was doing that corner of the eye looking like, oh shit, he's coming for me. She sits down. And this guy goes in.
Stay away from the other people, you hear me? If you stay in this fucking chair, get the fuck out! Do that again, I'll kick you out myself!
She got made to feel like a 10-year-old girl again, like her dad just told her off. She sat there for the rest of the night, didn't open her mouth and didn't move an inch. Definitely learned a lesson that day. Shout out to Paul Bluff. Give that man a pay rise.
Let's see the truth's explanation for why women earn less money than men on average. Oh, Oh, tut tut, the misogyny. But fear not. Using my truth, watch as now he will pull from my own source and say woman or less because of oh. See what we got here. Oh, the patriarchy.
In today's polarized world, is feminism dead? I saw your hand.
I think that depends on the definition of feminism. I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow that definition, feminism has splintered off into so many different areas that you can look at people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think feminism is really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
Why Gen Z men reject feminism?
Why are Gen Z men saying f*** off to feminism? Yesterday, BBC News shared an article that showed the widening gap between Gen Z men and Gen Z women, with a particular trend showing that Gen Z women are becoming more progressive and Gen Z men...
I saw the graph. Yeah. Remember it was the two graphs, one like South Korea where it was like a huge difference, and like, you know, in the UK and all that, yeah.
...are becoming more conservative.
This is true.
Now, this is nothing new. It was shown that this was happening in America before, and it's happening across the West. And for me, it's incredibly fucking obvious why this is happening. Because feminism and the left in the present day do absolutely nothing to support men. They do the opposite. They demonize, they stigmatize, and they ignore their problems. Why would young men be drawn to an ideology that on the surface at least comes across like it hates men for being men?
Well, the problem, and this is what I was saying before about how like people that are parasites infect things like feminism and then they use it for like their own personal gain. Like there are things in places where like women do have disadvantages and women have legitimate problems. But whenever you have like women who just actually hate men that are like, yeah, I'm a feminist and I hate men, this makes all feminists sound crazy. They want control. Yeah, exactly. And so this is a huge issue. And this is what I was saying before about how like one of the big problems with like these spaces like feminism and like, you know, gaming circle jerk is also another really great example. Like we just got done talking about that, is that the problem that these people have is that they are unable to regulate their own extremism. So you have people and they're unable to self-regulate and have a consistent ideology. And the ideology always gets co-opted by somebody who is more and more and more extreme. It's easier to take over an existing platform, build one from scratch. I mean, I think that this is, it's true, but also it gives them a certain level of credibility. How many women directed genocide throughout history? How many men? Well, pretty much all men. I mean, like, and again, it's not about like a lot of guys. You think about it like this. If you're a Gen Z guy, if you're a Zoomer guy, you are 22 years old. You don't want people to hold you responsible for what a guy did 100 years ago. Nobody that was around then is even alive anymore in a lot of these cases. Like everybody that was involved with this is dead, but people are still getting mad at you and holding this against you. What the fuck is this? Nobody wants to be born with original sin. Okay, like they wrote a whole book about it. So the truth is that that's why people are unhappy about this stuff. And also I think that guys probably, like, for example, I think OnlyFans definitely, and like the advent of things like OnlyFans definitely like kind of blackpilled a lot of guys. Whenever it's like, you know, you're a 19-year-old guy and you can barely get by, but like your 19-year-old, you know, friend that's a girl is able to make like $8,000 a month on OnlyFans just because she's attractive. I think that that really bothers a lot of guys because it is unfair. Now, in my opinion, I don't really think that's a big deal because that's just the way that life is, and men and women have different advantages in life. But for a lot of guys, it really bothers them because they don't have the context of being 33 years old like I and a lot of other people in chat do. So that's the difference.
And that is not what feminism is meant to be about. In theory, according to some definitions, it is meant to be about gender equality.
I think if you want to have a word that's about gender equality, it shouldn't be gendered.
To do is chat to the average feminist or see the average feminist influencer on social media, point out some of the inequalities that men face, such as in the education system, such as in mental health care, and such as how the economy is changing today with the decline of traditional jobs. Do they care?
Well, I think also, like, any person can observe the fact that there are a lot of resources out there that are explicitly for women, and there are not a equivalent number of resources out there that are exclusive for men. And because of that, a guy who's struggling sees that, and they begin to resent women because they have an advantage in these circumstances, or they have more support in these circumstances, which is a natural response. Again, monkeys can detect unfairness. Not a surprise that guys can do the same thing.
No, absolutely not. But what will they do? They will blame men for it. They will say it is the fault of men themselves. It's the patriarchy. Men have built this system, therefore it's their fault. But when it comes to women's inequality, it's a systemic problem, which is weird, because when it's men's issues, it's them that's the problem. It comes from inside. Yeah. But for women, everything else is outside. Again, it's men's fault. And the reason they do...
I think that men also do this too. This is a huge issue, and I've talked about this a lot, about how, like, guys are, and, like, people in general are, like, so fixated about blaming and putting the responsibility on some sort of, like, outside factor to stop them from having any accountability from their actions. So it's like, oh, I'm not sexualizing myself, you're sexualizing me, I'm just having OnlyFans because I like my body. You know, this is also, like, it's bullshit, but at the same time, there's also guys like, oh, all women are hoes, and, like, it's hoflation, I can't get a girlfriend. It's like, you can't get a girlfriend because you keep sending them a picture of your dick randomly. Like, stop doing that. Like, not every single bad thing that happens to you in life is a problem with culture. Sometimes you are the agent of your own demise. Sometimes it's your fault that bad things happen to you.
Most of the time is because they're fucking ignoramuses. They haven't done their research. They haven't looked at the data. They haven't seen that inequality exists for both men and women, and that it's desirable to address both of them. And they also haven't done the own self-reflection to see that the stance they're taking of pointing the finger at men and blaming...
I think that men do the same thing to women too, by the way. Like, obviously, like, I think that, like, culturally and socially, women definitely have, like, an advantage in terms of, you know, how many people are, like, agreeing with them and telling them that, like, they're right. And it's much more socially acceptable to say I hate men than saying I hate women. But there are a lot of guys that also create this, like, culture around, like, the reason why you have problems in your life is because of women. Well, that's probably not the case. There's probably, like, 10 other reasons why you have issues. And people constantly look for that external factor that they can blame for everything else that's wrong in their life. And that's what ends up happening. And so people are, like, going and seeking out this content that just reaffirms that all of the bad decisions they're making are actually good decisions. I think it's actually crazy how blatant I see sexism towards women on Twitter, though. It's definitely somewhat accepted. Well, I think that the reason why you see a lot of sexism towards women is because for a long time, like, women would say things or do things that were, like, very clearly sexist towards men, and then men would, like, not be able to respond because Twitter was moderated in an extremely, like, super censorship way. So now that you see guys that are able to say and think what they want, well, then that's what happens. That's what people really think. It's more of a resentment thing. Yeah, it is. It's just an unhealthy, yeah, I think it's an unhealthy backlash. You're totally right. And I think it's bad for both groups. And I think also, like, there are people who basically profit off of, you know, making this divide larger. And I find it to be, like, a huge problem. Like, things like Andrew Tate, etc.
Rather than trying to address the problems, is a reflection of their own ego and refusal to accept changing information. And the problem with this is it's created an enormous vacuum where you have a lack of male support on the left. So it's all come from the right, who are not much better either. It's just led the way for this very fixed traditional idea of masculinity, where if you don't conform to it, you're seen as a beta male or a soy boy.
Well, he's totally fucking right. I'm glad he said this, because this is absolutely fucking true. It's like, this is the idea. Like, the problem is that, and you see this with a lot of these, like, male influencers and, like, you know, manosphere influencers. Like, these people are like what a teenager thinks a guy, like a cool guy is. That's always what it is. It's never somebody who like usually has all their life together and like things are going well. It's like it's like this, you know, like a 14-year-old's version of like what's a cool guy. Soy Boys, yeah, GTA characters, basically, yeah.
But the left are in complete denial about how they're aiding this side of the right.
They are.
And they will say something like what I'm saying now as a more neutral observational stance is akin to that. They will say that anybody who dares to criticise feminist ideology or woke ideology must be a Tate-supporting right-winger. And people can see through that bullshit. They're sick of it. And guess who most of the people are?
I think that most people don't like to be, like, for example, this is what happened with me, is like whenever I started criticizing like some of like the Sweet Baby stuff, and like the people on Twitter, like they just start making stuff up about you. Like it's not even like they care about what's being said. What they care about is trying to bully you and pressure you into shutting the fuck up. Like that's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to win an argument. They're trying to shut down an argument. So yeah, of course people don't want to deal with it. Of course people are pushing back against it because nobody likes to be oppressed.
That are sick of this. The young men, the ones who are being told by those people that they're the bad ones. So what does feminism need to do? Start fucking listening to the problems that men are facing and stop pretending that they don't exist, because inequality can exist for both sexes. Check out leading male inequality experts like Richard Reeves. Check out the American Institute for Boys and Men. Check out the all-party political group for boys and men. Start looking into the crisis of masculinity. You can read a fantastic article by a feminist author called Christine Ember in the New York Times discussing the problems that men are facing. Because when more feminists start taking male inequality seriously too, because it is not beneficial to society as a whole, then we will have less of this divide. Men are not collectively...
Well, that's not going to happen because the reason why is that there's a lot of people who have problems in their own life. And it's a lot easier to sell somebody the solution that it's everybody else's fault than to sell them the solution that it's your fault. So what ends up happening is that the reason why like social media influencers and people that push this information always focus on, like, for example, like this is true for a lot of like political content creators too, is that it's like there's always a focus on like, well, you know, you're not successful because of capitalism. Well, maybe in an abstract that's kind of true, or like in some disconnected way, but the real reason why you're not successful because of capitalism is because you spend all day on Twitter talking about it. You're not actually improving your life. You're not trying to make anything better. But if you tell that person that, then they're going to say that, oh, well, now you're against me. And then they leave and they stop consuming your content. So what it does is it creates like what I was talking about with like the toxic self-help meta and like the vicious cycle where people with problems look for self-help on the internet, and self-help on the internet oftentimes blames an external source. So people are kind of trained into this learned helplessness of never actually improving their life, and even being told and having the implication that if you have to improve your life, if somebody's telling you to improve your life, all they're trying to do is uphold a system that's trying to oppress you, so then they become the enemy.
Bad as an entire gender. But
so it's an entire culture that's created around teaching people learned helplessness and then telling them that it's everybody else's fault for their own bad decisions.
Who are collectively bad, people who believe that they are. And what will those people often identify themselves as? The word begins with an F.
The world is the problem, not me. Any solutions? I think the solution to it is to have better family structures. And the reason why I think a lot of guys do this is because they're looking for an internet dad or an internet older brother or uncle. And that's really the problem. I think that the reason why this is happening a lot is because of the lack of family structure and the lack of respectable father figures in media and also in people's personal lives. So they're constantly looking for that, you know, because you don't have, like, for example, like I was very lucky. I grew up, like, my dad was a great father figure, and, you know, a lot of the other people in like my family were too, and, you know, other like friends of my dad, everything like that. So I never really had this issue personally. And it's sad for me to see other people that do, because it's just such a massive hole. It's like they don't even know It's like, how do you be a man? How can you be a man? They're not even sure how to do that. So they're spending $10,000 on a 3-day course where a guy yells at them, and so they can LARP around like they're Navy SEALs. So that's basically what ends up happening. And so they don't even know what being a man is. It's like, from their idea, being a man is, having an expensive car or having 3 girlfriends or something like that. Because they have no socialization, they're not trained to understand these things, and big surprise, they don't. So yeah, they need a YouTube tutorial. And so I think that's the reason why it happens. It's the lack of family structures. It's the lack of active parents. It's the lack of strong masculine role models in people's personal lives and also in media. Like, if you want to look at a strong masculine, what should be the pinnacle, peak performance of a man? It shouldn't be Andrew Tate. It should be Aragorn. There it is. Like, what are you doing sitting around trying to, have 6 different girlfriends? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is, what is this? Yeah. And there's plenty of other people that are like that. Yeah, Mr. Rogers, people like that. Like, these are people who are actually, just normal, average guys that are good, that try to improve the lives of other people. And it's like, there's this, combination of you have to be dangerous or strong or something like that to be a man. Like, no, it's just like, it's again, this is a 14-year-old's version on what being a man is, because a lot of these people are stuck developmentally at 14 years old. So there it is. That's the reason why I think it happens. That is the fundamental. I think it's also the reason why there's so many feminism problems too, is because women have asshole dads, and there's guys in their life that again, because guys grow up, they don't know how to act around girls, they make girls uncomfortable, and then girls hate men, right? That's just generally how things happen. Ned Stark, yeah, there you go. Do you think fighting economic disparity is also a contributing aspect? Yeah, sure, it is, absolutely. But I'm saying this is the biggest reason. And I think it's it is the reason that if this thing was solved, I think that it would cause more of an effect than anything else.
And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW Voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.